What if the most powerful nighttime recovery tool for your body has been sitting in your kitchen the entire time? Not in a prescription bottle, not in some trendy supplement with a label you can't pronounce, in a simple bottle of extra virgin olive oil. And tonight, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens inside your body, hour by hour, if you start drinking a small amount of it before bed. By the time we get to the end of this list, you're going to understand why researchers studying aging, inflammation, and brain health keep coming back to this one simple ingredient. So stay with me because benefit number one is something that genuinely surprised me when I first read the research behind it. Before we get into it, if you're someone who cares about aging well, staying sharp, and staying independent, hit subscribe now. This channel, Body Decoded, is built for people who want real science explained simply, without the hype and without the scare tactics. New videos come out every week, and I promise you, this one is worth staying for. Here's the thing most people don't think about. Your body does its deepest, most important healing work while you're asleep. During the night, your brain clears out waste it built up during the day. Your muscles repair the damage from simply moving through your life. Your liver processes what needs to be processed. Your blood vessels relax. Your immune system resets itself. Even your skin does more repair work at night than it does during the day. That's not opinion, that's basic physiology. The problem is, as we get older, a lot of us stop getting the kind of deep, restorative sleep our bodies rely on for all of this. And it's usually not because something is broken, it's because the body is missing a few of the signals and nutrients it needs to do this repair work efficiently. You've probably felt it yourself. Inflammation creeping up, blood sugar feeling less stable overnight, digestion slowing down, a little more brain fog than you'd like to admit. None of that happens randomly. It's physiological and it builds up slowly, year after year, until one day you notice you're waking up stiffer, foggier, and more tired than you used to be. This is exactly where olive oil becomes a lot more interesting than most people realize. Extra virgin olive oil is loaded with polyphenols, plant compounds that interact directly with inflammation, your blood vessels, your gut bacteria, and even your brain. Some of these compounds appear to support your body's natural cellular cleanup processes. Others help stabilize blood sugar and support your heart while you sleep. This isn't about magic foods or miracle cures. It's about understanding what your body is already trying to do and giving it what it needs to do that job well. Tonight, we're counting down 7 things that may happen in your body if you drink olive oil consistently before bed, starting from number 7 and building up to the one that honestly changed how I think about this ingredient completely. And before we get too far in, drop a comment and tell me how old you are and what's the one health concern that keeps you up at night. Your heart, your joints, your memory, your energy, whatever it is. I read every comment on this channel, and it genuinely shapes what we cover next. Let's get into it. Number 7 is sleep itself, and this is the one that surprises almost everyone I talk to about this. Drinking a small amount of extra virgin olive oil before bed may actually improve the quality of your sleep, and it comes down to how your nervous system responds to inflammation as you get older. Here's something a lot of people don't realize. Poor sleep after 60 isn't usually just stress or bad habits. A lot of the time, it's connected to something called neuroinflammation, a kind of low-grade, chronic inflammation inside the brain that can interfere with melatonin production and disrupt the deep, restorative stages of sleep your body needs most. Picture a low fire quietly burning in a factory overnight. The workers, in this case your brain cells, can't get their repair jobs done properly because they're constantly dealing with smoke and heat in the background. As we age, that inflammatory load tends to increase, and sleep quality often suffers because of it. This is where olive oil earns its reputation. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, and researchers have found that it works in a way that's biochemically similar to ibuprofen, calming some of the same inflammatory pathways without the stomach issues that can come with taking anti-inflammatory medication regularly, especially as we get older. When you take a tablespoon of good quality extra virgin olive oil about half an hour before bed, you're giving your brain a gentle, natural anti inflammatory signal right as it's trying to shift into repair mode for the night. If you want to try this for better sleep, use a tablespoon of cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, the kind where you can actually feel a little peppery bite at the back of your throat. That bite is the oleocanthal doing its job. You can take it straight or stir it into a small glass of warm water with a pinch of sea salt. If you want to take it a step further, pair it with a small handful of tart cherries, which naturally contain melatonin. Between the anti-inflammatory action of the oil and the melatonin in the cherries, you're working on two separate pathways at the same time. Number 6 is about your heart, and specifically, what's happening in your arteries while you sleep. Here's something worth knowing. The most dangerous window for your heart isn't during the day when you're active. It's the early morning hours, somewhere between 3 and 6 a.m., when blood pressure tends to rise and your arteries are at their stiffest. That's part of why so many cardiac events happen during sleep or right after waking, rather than during exercise or exertion. As we get older, our arterial walls naturally lose some elasticity, a process that inflammation and oxidative stress tend to speed up. That stiffness puts real strain on the heart. This is where olive oil starts working directly on the problem. Oleic acid, which makes up the majority of the fat in olive oil, has been shown in research to help reduce the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. And that distinction matters a lot because LDL cholesterol on its own isn't nearly as dangerous as oxidized LDL, which is what actually contributes to plaque building up in your arteries. Your liver also does a large portion of its cholesterol regulation work overnight. So when you take olive oil before bed, you're giving your liver a dose of healthy fats and polyphenols right before it enters that critical window. It's a bit like giving the night shift their tools before they clock in, instead of making them search for what they need in the dark. 1 tablespoon before bed is a reasonable place to start. If you're currently on any heart medication, talk to your doctor first, not because olive oil is dangerous, but because it can have a mild effect on cholesterol over time, and your doctor may want to keep an eye on that alongside your other numbers. If you want to boost the benefit, pair it with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. Some research suggests the flavonols in dark chocolate and the polyphenols in olive oil may work together to support the health of the cells lining your blood vessels, more than either one does alone. Number 5 is something a lot of people over 60 feel every single morning before they even get out of bed, and that's joint stiffness. What happens inside your joints overnight when olive oil is part of your routine is genuinely worth understanding. Your joints are lined with a thin layer of tissue called the synovial membrane, which produces the fluid that lets your bones glide smoothly against each other. Think of it like the seal inside a well-oiled hinge. As we age, that seal thins out, fluid production slows, and inflammation starts to wear down the cartilage underneath it. That's the foundation of osteoarthritis, which affects tens of millions of adults in this country, the overwhelming majority of them over 60. Research out of the biomedical field studying oleocanthal has found that beyond its general anti-inflammatory effects, it appears to interfere with a specific inflammatory signal called interleukin-1 beta, which is one of the chemical messengers that tells your body to start breaking down cartilage. When you interrupt that signal, you're not just reducing discomfort, you may be slowing the deeper structural wear on the joint itself. Nighttime matters here specifically because your body's tissue repair, including cartilage maintenance, is largely regulated by growth hormone, which peaks in the first couple of hours after you fall asleep. Taking olive oil before bed means those anti-inflammatory compounds are already in your bloodstream, right when your body starts its repair work. Try a tablespoon 30 to 45 minutes before bed, and if you want to enhance it further, pair it with a source of vitamin C, like a small glass of warm lemon water. Vitamin C plays a direct role in collagen production, and collagen is the main structural protein in both your cartilage and the tissue lining your joints. Now, if this is starting to click for you, if you're realizing that some of the most useful tools for your health have been quietly sitting in your kitchen the whole time, take a second right now and hit like on this video and subscribe if you haven't. It genuinely helps this channel keep going, and it helps more people find information like this instead of the noise that's usually out there. Thank you for that. Number 4 is your gut, and I want to be clear. Gut health isn't just something that matters for younger people. If anything, it becomes more important as we age. Research has consistently shown that older adults tend to have noticeably less microbial diversity in their gut compared to younger adults, a shift scientists call gut dysbiosis. That loss of diversity is linked to more inflammation throughout the body, a weaker immune response, and reduced nutrient absorption. Your gut isn't just a digestive organ. It's one of the foundations of your immune system and a major regulator of inflammation everywhere else in your body. Extra virgin olive oil turns out to be one of the more powerful natural prebiotics we know of. The polyphenols in olive oil largely pass through the small intestine undigested and travel down to the large intestine, where they help feed beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, while making it a little harder for less helpful bacteria to thrive. Nighttime is actually the ideal window for this because your digestive system goes through something called the migrating motor complex while you sleep, a series of wave-like contractions that essentially clean out your intestines between meals. Having olive oil present during that overnight cleansing cycle appears to amplify its gut-supporting effects. A tablespoon before bed paired with a small cup of warm chamomile tea is a simple combination worth trying. Chamomile contains a compound that supports the integrity of your gut lining, while the olive oil supplies the prebiotic polyphenols, and together they support what's often called gut barrier function, your intestinal wall's ability to keep harmful compounds from leaking into your bloodstream. Number 3 is your muscles, and after a certain age, your muscle mass becomes one of the biggest predictors of how long you live and, more importantly, how well you live. Sarcopenia is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that comes with aging, and it happens faster than most people realize once you're past 60. Alongside that muscle loss comes a higher fall risk, a slower metabolism, and often a noticeable drop in day-to-day independence. Part of the reason muscle loss speeds up as we age is something researchers call anabolic resistance, which basically means your muscles become less responsive to the protein you eat. In a younger person, a high-protein meal triggers a strong muscle-building response. In an older adult, that same meal produces a much smaller response. Your muscles, in a sense, stop listening as closely to the signals that used to make them grow and repair. This is where olive oil does something worth paying attention to. Research has found that oleic acid and the polyphenols in olive oil may help support IGF-1 activity in muscle tissue, one of the key signals that tells your muscles to build and maintain protein. Some studies have also looked at myostatin, a protein that essentially acts as a brake on muscle growth, and found that olive oil's polyphenols may help ease that brake slightly, giving your body a better shot at maintaining muscle, particularly during the overnight window when protein synthesis is most active. For the best effect, take your tablespoon of olive oil about 30 minutes before bed, paired with a small serving of protein, a few ounces of cottage cheese, a boiled egg, or some Greek yogurt work well. The protein in dairy tends to release slowly over several hours, so it's still available to your muscles at 2 or 3 in the morning, right when growth hormone and repair processes are most active. Number 2 is blood sugar, and this one touches one of the most common and often overlooked concerns for adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Blood sugar doesn't stay flat while you sleep. In people with insulin resistance, which affects a large portion of adults over 65, whether they've been diagnosed or not, Blood sugar can rise in the early morning hours through something called the dawn phenomenon, where the liver releases stored glucose in anticipation of you waking up. In a healthy metabolic system, insulin handles that surge smoothly. In an insulin-resistant system, it can spike, and night after night, that repeated spiking contributes to cellular aging, vascular strain, and a higher long-term risk of type 2 diabetes. Research has found that adding olive oil to an evening meal can meaningfully reduce the blood sugar response compared to a meal without it. Part of this comes down to olive oil slowing gastric emptying, meaning food moves out of your stomach more gradually, which prevents sharp glucose spikes. Oleic acid also appears to support insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. After 70, insulin sensitivity naturally declines quite a bit compared to younger adulthood, partly due to changes in how efficiently your mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside your cells, are able to process glucose. Some research suggests olive oil's polyphenols may help support mitochondrial efficiency in muscle cells over time. For blood sugar support, take your tablespoon of olive oil 20 to 30 minutes before your last small meal or snack of the evening. Timing really does matter here more than almost anywhere else on this list. And now we're at number 1, the one I teased at the very beginning, and honestly, the one that made me want to make this video in the first place. This is about your brain, and specifically, your brain's overnight cleaning system. Let me explain something most people have genuinely never heard of, called the glymphatic system, because once you understand it, everything else on this list starts to make a lot more sense. While you sleep, your brain cells actually shrink slightly, which opens up more space for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through the gaps between them, almost like a wash cycle. This system flushes out metabolic waste that builds up during the day, including a protein called beta amyloid, the same protein that forms plaques in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Without enough deep, high-quality sleep, that waste doesn't get cleared as efficiently, and over years and decades, that buildup becomes a real concern. Here's what stood out to me. Researchers, including a well-known study out of Temple University, have looked at oleocanthal's ability to support the pathways your brain uses to clear beta amyloid and another related protein called tau. The reason nighttime timing matters so much here specifically is that the glymphatic system operates almost exclusively during sleep. It's barely active while you're awake. So if you want olive oil's brain-supporting compounds present when that cleaning system switches on, you need to take it before bed, not in the morning, not at lunch. The timing isn't a small detail here, it's really the whole mechanism. For the biggest potential benefit, take a tablespoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil 30 to 45 minutes before bed, and if you can, sleep on your side rather than on your back. Some research out of Stony Brook University has found that the glymphatic system may work more efficiently in that position. Pairing your olive oil with a small serving of blueberries is worth considering too, since blueberries contain compounds that may help reduce neuroinflammation and support brain health over time. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. You are not too old and you are not too far along for any of this to matter. The sleep support, the heart protection, the joint relief, the gut healing, the muscle preservation, the blood sugar stability, and the brain clearing benefits we just went through, none of it comes with an age limit. 1 tablespoon a night. That's really the whole protocol. It costs less than $1 a day. It doesn't require a prescription, a gym membership, or a complete overhaul of your life. Just a small, consistent habit done with a little intention. Your independence is worth protecting. Being able to carry your own groceries, remember the small things, sleep through the night without your mind racing, wake up without your knees aching before you've even stood up, all of that is worth fighting for. And a lot of it starts with small, boring, consistent habits like this one. If this video gave you something useful, do me a favor and share it with someone you care about. A parent, a spouse, a friend who's been dealing with any of what we talked about today. And before you go, drop a comment and let me know which one of these 7 surprised you the most. I read every single comment, and I promise you it shapes exactly what we cover next on this channel. This is Body Decoded. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.